because they should be the 51st state, really. It would make a great state, and the people of Canada like it.
Until he cuts out this 51st state talk.
No, I look forward to speaking with President Trump.
Let's take a look at what Canada's stance will be after America's crazy and hard-to-digest decisions and sanctions against Canada and Mexico in March, and how things will develop in terms of trade agreements. After the Trump-led decision at the beginning of March to impose 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, things became very thought-provoking and problematic. Soon after, President Trump's proposal for Canada to become the 51st state for the United States angered Canadians because this is a sovereignty problem. The Canadian government took a number of actions of its own. One of the major steps was to suspend the $13 billion F-35 aircraft purchase project in consultation with the Ministry of Defense in response to American pressure. Trump's efforts to corner Canada continue apace, and the consequences are making people nervous. Prime Minister Mark Carney said on March 14th that Canada has never agreed to be part of the United States, and that the proposal to become the 51st state is crazy, and that they expect the U.S. government to respect them. Carney made his first overseas visit to France and the UK, and said he was looking forward to meeting Trump. The U.S. government, on the other hand, knows that there are talks with the Europeans for defense behind closed doors, and in fact, Canada is actually economically dependent on the United States, and Ottawa was actually dragged into some feudal adventures. On March 6th, a session on defense systems was held, and in the report prepared, it will not be right to look like a sympathetic replacement for the Carney government, and plans B and C will be prepared and activated for the Canadian government. Trump's disturbing policy as soon as he came to power in America has seriously disturbed Canada, and the Canadian government has said to America, "We are arguably your largest trading partner." And although it seems like a compulsory step for them to take various steps by Canada, they are obliged to do so, and they will use the trump card of canceling the F-35 project. You know that Canada has been involved in this fifth-generation fighter jet project since the beginning, and this is one of the most advanced, successful aircraft in the 21st century. Despite the harsh weather conditions of Canada, the Canadian government may withdraw from this project, which is expensive and difficult to maintain, and as an alternative, it seems to have turned to aircraft such as Eurofighter, Gripen, and Rafale as European alternatives. But these do not seem to be very logical steps and decisions for the country, because it will be a very corrosive step, because it will bring many problems in logistics and integration. However, it was not easy for Canada to enter the F-35 program, so it is time for one side to take logical steps. We do not know which side will take the first step back, but a step must be taken as soon as possible. Carney's ideas for investment from Europe and Asia could increase tensions and exacerbate the problems and remain a reaction to the tensions. However, while it is argued that this should be done against the United States, the fact that these issues continue to dominate, while international authorities are warning to work together, continues to make the process difficult. If Canada withdraws from the F-35 project and the U.S. ends its military presence and support, many problems are likely to come with it. Carney's goals of independence could also drag the public into a difficult situation, in which case Canada could suffer a lot. According to the results of a survey conducted in Canada, it seems that it would be more accurate to maintain commercial forces and agreements instead of an independent defense. Canada, on the other hand, should try to improve its relations with the United States without being fooled by Europe. Friends, because this is the most logical step. Because it is clear that there are a lot of countries that are waiting to buy F-35 aircraft, which they see as sanctions. And if Canada does not buy it, we will buy it. 1-0 Canada loses here. But on the other hand, American defense companies do not want to lose their close and rich neighbors. If the F-35 program is canceled, and Canada continues its unyielding scenario, it is clear that serious sanctions are on the way. So what will happen now and what awaits us? Let's talk about them. Trump's latest provocations seem to have created a moment of reckoning for many Canadians, as Canadians' national and sovereignty pride is really hurt, and there has not been this kind of anxiety for a long time. There is public recognition that Canada needs radical action, and there is a call to buy Canadian products. And Lana Payne, president of Canada's largest private sector union, has claimed that Trump has declared a serious war on Canadian workers and the country, and that there is no turning back for the country, and that every effort must be made to build a strong, resilient, diverse economy. As a result of the many export bans and subsequent property restrictions, political and street opinion in favor of Canada is growing exponentially. And many are now realizing that economic dependence on the United States is a dead end and sovereignty is at risk. Since the 1970s, powerful and capitalist governments have never stopped trying to dissolve prosperous states. And unfortunately, national states continue to be at the center of all events, questioning the very existence of social identity in the Western world. In the near future, Canada may soon respond to Trump's own trade barrier policies, with more agreements and cooperation with both its G7 allies and the Global South to reduce the long-awaited industrial policy and economic dependence on America. And in this way, some marginal gains can be made, and this step seems to be the first and foremost effective way to avoid the economic and social disruptions and problems that America will bring. But now, as events unfold, the seriousness with which Canadians are responding to these sanctions and their national identity and stance is raising hopes for a more sovereign Canada. For a more successful Canada, more strategic plans and more careful projects should be carried out by the Liberals. Because lessons must be learned from current and past failures, and unions, political parties, and democratic socialists must work together in this economic mobilization. As sovereignty concerns grow, many Canadians remain convinced that viable economic alternatives exist. Economic hardship can also lead to new steps and unity, and many popular activists and Canadians concerned about sovereignty can come together to assert their sovereign rights. But one thing is true: Donald Trump's imposition of heavy sanctions on Canada or any other country is not the right step. Yes, friends, your comments are important. Don't forget to write. Stay tuned.